Hi. I
You need to back up because you're the only thing that's blocking
I
me from going
I
on.
am live now, Lizzie.
I forgot.
I know, that's okay. So, thank you. I have been struggling um all day today, and I had this massive epiphany, and it all kind of came together. And this has been a problem I've been tracking for the last 10 months. I noticed that my partner and I would fight every 7 to 10 days. So I started to track it. And sure enough, like clockwork, the tension would start to build around day 7 or 8. And then, and it's funny, I did this with my ex husbands too. I have been doing this my whole life. It makes so much sense now. And I thought it was my mental illnesses, but I'm fine. And I spent the entire day today. Last time I had a blowout, so this is the pattern: is I would get upset, and then I would almost antagonistically, I would feel like my whole body vibrating, like I couldn't contain my energy, and I just felt so off kilter. And then I would end up blowing up and screaming and lashing out and causing a fight with my husband or partner every single time. And the more I did work on myself and my psyche, and the more I cleaned up my mental health, the more I looked at the cognitive core, going, I can't locate what the problem is. So I would go through love, I would go through ethics, I would go through, okay, I feel confusion. I have two different perspectives, definitely, which tells me that I have confusion. And I did feel myself, not confusion, but I had like, I was toggling between two. I could see the one point of view on that side, but I was completely submerged in the negative flow. And I couldn't figure out how to move from the negative flow back over to the positive. And I thought it was something to do with the vortex. And it is in a way, but not the way I thought. So I, God, this makes so much more sense. So I thought, okay, if it's not cognitive core and if it's not mental, then that means it would be of my soul and of my spirit, which tells me, well, it has been like a week since I grounded. I need to ground. So I spent the day meditating and trying to ground myself. And the more I tried to ground myself, the worse it got, which was interesting. And this happens every time. The more I try and ground myself, the more the more it would rattle me. Normally, by this point, I would be on the phone with my partner screaming at him, or just screaming and crying for literally 6 hours. But I refused to do that this time, and I could not figure out what it was. So I finally pulled away, and I remembered I have a psychic I speak to about this, a light worker, and she directs me in the right direction. And she had told me, well, she and I was trying to do like a whole what would she advise me to do, and I was thinking a lot about that, and I couldn't figure it out. And I remember her saying to me that if I want to draw my partner toward me, then I need to pull away and embrace the feminine. So I started to embrace the feminine. And as soon as I did that, my whole system again shook. And I've been trying to do this all day where I embrace the queen side of me, the fey queen. And every time I tried, I would embrace the feminine and it falls apart. And I went over this when I talked to my psychic. She said to me that be sure I tap into the feminine. And I said to her, are you sure it's the feminine and it's not the masculine? I'm pretty sure I need to tap into the masculine and he needs to tap into the feminine. And she said, no, you must tap into the feminine and he has to tap into the masculine. And I'm going, okay. And my body and every bone in my fiber is screaming at me, no, that's not correct. You have to embrace the masculine. He is suppressing his obvious feminine side. He needs to embrace it. And you don't do well with the feminine. So I realized, well, wait a minute. And I thought, no, no. And I reversed it. And I'm like, as soon as I reversed it, I felt it. I felt the ethereal play. I felt myself elevate again to the ethereal plane. And that's when and then this calm just came over me, which is normally, this is how it happens for me. And as soon as that calm hit, I went, oh, that's right. I was born in the ethereal plane. I've been living there for 40 years. And so when people ground, my energy doesn't come from the earth, from the material plane. It comes from the ethereal plane. So when I ground, I have to actually go to the ethereal plane and ground myself in that energy. I have to ground myself in the energy pool. Whereas everybody else has to ground themselves here on this plane. And it doesn't work that way for me. And as soon as I got into the ethereal plane, I realized what it was. It's I grew up there. So I'm constantly tapping into that energy. And I can only, and I remember hearing this in Irish riddles and Irish folklore, that a fae can only be out of the Feywild for a certain period of time. And sure enough, my limit is 7 to 10 days. I've been doing this my whole life. And I can't be away from the ethereal plane that long. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try every 5 days. I'm going to return to the ethereal plane for a day and see if that does it. That should do it. I just have to be in the ethereal plane a lot more. But the other thing is, in Fey world, it's the woman who holds the masculine, and it's the man who holds the feminine. And because we are Fey, it's going to be reversed for us. And as soon as I realized that, and I embraced, in Fey world, basically it's the women who have the masculine energy. So I just absorbed it and I took it all in and I felt it settle. And I calmed right down. And then I saw my situation with my partner and I understood it. I am very much of the ethereal world. And I will not be coming down any longer. I'm not going to be, in fact, the longer I'm at the healing garden, the more I'm going to be there, to the point where I'm never going to come down to the material plane. Which means I cannot participate in any of the events or be with the friends that my partner is with, because I've crossed over to the ethereal plane now. And only under certain circumstances can I come down out of the ethereal plane. Which means that I am never going to see my partner unless he comes to my realm. But we don't know if he can. And we don't have any friends. I don't have any friends in the ethereal plane. And at least not yet. And I don't have a community there. In fact, I can't do much of anything there. It's just me and my little genie bottle, while he lives his life on the material plane. And I haven't seen him in more than a month. So I really miss him. But right now we're at this weird place where we have no in-between place. That makes so much more sense now. So I'm going to try this next experiment. Today is Saturday, June 17th. Which means if I do nothing and if I don't visit the material plane, the next episode is going to be 8, 9, 10, the 26th of June. I'm not going to make it. I see it now. I'm looking right at the calendar, and that is a full long week. I'm going to have to break it up. So the 21st is when I must go back to the ethereal plane. Okay. I'm going to try that. So I will be reporting on the 21st, Wednesday, on this. And if it works, great. I'll have to make a day of it. And then I'll track it from there on. But I'm thinking if I do, like, let me see here, on the 21st, well, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, once a week. Yeah, every 5 to 7 days, I need to start visiting the ethereal plane, because that's also where I align and I recalibrate. This makes a lot more sense. All right, so this is going to be part of my self-care routine now. And that's it. I got to make this my self-care routine. All right. If you want to follow more about me, as always, the links are on the sidebar. This is An Imagination with the Healing Garden. Thank you so much.